You've determined your dimensions of just the main piece of your Connect 4 game. So I want to show you how we can create that piece in Inventor. We have some new tools that need to be addressed. First, make sure you create a project folder. I've already created mine, but just as a reminder, you click on Projects and select New, and that way all of your parts that will be assembled into your Connect 4 game will go into the same default folder. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead with my first part, and I'm referring, when I start this part, to my detailed drawing. So here I'll make the plane, and this is an upright piece. So I'm doing a new sketch, and my sketch is a length of 7.5 inches and a height of 6 inches. And again, this is just the main part. So I bring it into view, and now here we're going to do some new things with something called the rectangular pattern tool. Now what I'm going to start with is a square that will represent the size of a coin. So I'll use the rectangle tool, and I'll use the dimension tool to tell it where or how far away from the edge of the frame that will be. And dimension, I could have put those in right away, but let's make sure it's 1 inch square. So 1 inch that way and 1 inch this way. Okay, and then the distance from here to here. So I click on that side, and then I click on this side, and the distance of my outside frame mine is 0.25. Yours might be different. Okay, now the coin is going to fit inside. So I can zoom way in, and I can see a dotted line when I'm in the center of that square. So I click when I see the two dotted lines, and my opening is 0.75. Okay, and now what I can do is create my array. So I click on the rectangle tool, and the first thing I want to do is tell the program what I am repeating. So when you click on geometry here, I'm going to close this and click away for a moment. Okay, rectangle tool. The geometry is my circle, and it's not grabbing my circle. There we go. Okay, and now I'll put in the pattern going the horizontal direction, and notice when I click on it, the arrow might go either direction. Right now for me that's the wrong direction, so I go right here and say flip the direction of that pattern repeat, and mine happens to be 1 inch in spacing. So look at how much space is in between your two coins. Mine is 0.25. So this distance right here is the distance from the center of the circle to the next center of the circle. And for me, that would be 1 inch. And I need to repeat that 7 times, or have 7 in total. Then I also want to do an array going upward. So I will click on this one, and then one of the vertical lines, and it's going the wrong direction. So I say, no, I want it this way, and I want 6 of them. And the distance, these two distances should be the same in each direction. Otherwise, when you're playing the game, they're not going to line up equally. And I'll say okay, and there is my array. Okay, now I want to extrude this. I go to the 3D model, extrude, and actually let me cancel that for a moment. I just want to point one thing out. This rectangle that represents the coin area, that you can consider a construction line. I'm not going to do anything with that in terms of cutting out or extruding my sketch. So now that I have all the circles where they want to be, I actually can just delete the square. Oh, I should rephrase, I can only delete 2 sides of it, but since I have dimensions on there, it's not going to let me delete it. So ignore that. So I have to make sure that when I extrude, I grab all of the correct area. So I don't want to extrude the circles. I only want to extrude the base frame. But notice that I didn't get that area within the square. So I'm going to zoom in and say, nope, I want this too. And I had decided that mine would be a 1/2 inch in thickness. So my extrusion is 1/2 inch. And now I have begun using the new rectangle tool. I've begun making the base frame. All of you will have the base frame, but you will probably all have different structures underneath depending on what your design is. So this should be helpful. You, of course, have to cut the top. So let's see if you can figure that out.